They're kind of like pinned
By the
furniture.
Okay, word.
That's the last thing that I needed to do was hang those, but I was just nervous about them being too bright.
I mean, it's a good looking studio.
Yeah.
You got the job done.
I did get the job done. It did take I don't know how many hours I've put into this thing, but most of them planning, and we're here. Episode 1.
How much planning didn't go as planned?
Actually, surprisingly, a lot of things went right.
Okay.
Like all the colors going on in here, I was very nervous about things not working, but that worked first try. I don't know, everything. I guess I didn't fail anywhere.
How much does a couch like this run for you? My dream couch is a green velvet couch. So
I feel like you've told me that before.
I don't know. I have a few different things that just come out. What was that? When I was young, I wanted a Ford Fiesta, a green Ford Fiesta.
Oh.
So green is consistent in my thing. We've upgraded to a Toyota Sienna.
Okay.
Hybrid.
Yeah, I've never heard of a Fiesta being a dream car.
It had good mileage, and I was like, gas is expensive when I was younger. I wasn't expecting myself to make any money, so.
Right. Well, I mean, compared to other cars, isn't it like pretty much like low, mid-end for price?
Mid didn't exist back then, so this was like probably 7th grade or something like that.
Okay, so you were like old enough to like know about cool cars, and you still chose the Fiesta.
I'm old enough now to know about cool cars, and I don't know about cool cars.
Yeah, but like, actually, I guess I should ask you, do you still think the Fiesta is cool?
I don't think it's cool. I think it's efficient. My goal was never what's the coolest car. It's like, what's the most efficient car?
Okay.
I'm just an optimal guy. I'm always thinking.
So you have no desire to own a cool car?
No, not at all. I think
really? Even if it was like handed to you? They're like, oh, you can have like this tricked out Mustang that costs like 80 grand, or you can have this Fiesta.
Is all of the gas being handed to me as well? Because
you have to pay for the gas.
A
yeah.
Mustang, isn't that like an 18 mile per hour?
It's somewhere, yeah,
gallon?
probably 16, 18.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I hate that.
Okay.
My mom had a diesel car on accident one time. I think.
On accident.
Yeah, they had to return it, which I never heard with a car before. You know, where they like have a defect in something and they need to bring it all back.
Like a recall.
Yeah, recall on a car. So
like the entire thing.
Yeah, because Volkswagen lied that it wasn't a diesel car, and it turned out to be on diesel.
How do you accidentally have that wrong? Wouldn't it like break the car the first use because you put the wrong gas in it?
Well, you don't. They just release it as a regular car, and then when they sell it to you, like, you gotta buy diesel.
Oh.
And honestly, like, you see diesel at the gas station, it's really expensive, but the miles on that, really good.
Oh, okay. So is it still like cheaper per mile?
It's probably pretty much the same, at least from our experience on that specific thing.
So she had a Volkswagen diesel.
Yeah.
Nice.
She
did want to be in frame after all.
Is this the cold opening?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we need a clap sync?
Actually, since we're recording from the same device, it's perfectly synced.
What about the video?
we don't have to worry about the video. Should we?
I'm gonna hit 1. You go.
Are we timing it?
No, you go.
Okay.
The clap.
I'll go at the same time as you.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right. That's gonna
be really confusing.
That's gonna be tough for you. So.
Yeah.
Another one.
That probably makes more sense. Yeah, I usually don't run cameras that don't have audio, I guess. Or I guess typically when I record the other podcast, it's like I have them both running in OBS, so it's already synced. Like it puts it together for you, and then you edit from there. So I've never done this fancy 3-camera setup we got going on right now.
So you got a nice color combination going on. You got some ripped jeans. What would you rate yourself, a scale of 1 to 10, attractiveness?
Right now, I mean, it depends how my hair is falling. If it's falling right, I'd say a 10. Otherwise, it could be anywhere from a 4 to a 10.
I'm glad you're not one of those 11 guys, though. And also, you don't let yourself drop in the bottom 3. You take care of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, even if in its worst condition, I'd say 4 or 5 for sure. What about you?
Right now, I feel like I average. I don't have as large of a range, 4 to 10. I'm more of like a 5 to to 8. I'll say 5 to 8 kind of guy.
Okay.
I think I have a personality that carries me a little bit. I think I'm enjoyable to be around. So.
That's true. That's true.
My style is lackluster.
That's not true. You're looking stylish.
It's for the podcast.
You know what's funny is I know what this podcast is going to be about, and I didn't understand where you were going with that until like most of the way through.
I've been craving to be on a podcast for a long time, so I got segues just built up in my brain right now.
You got segues, transitions. You're ready to go. You had this stuff written down. I saw your notes. They look pretty extensive, and it made me feel like I should have taken notes and not just kind of studied beforehand.
Well, see, you're a professional at this point. You have a ton of episodes on a famous podcast. I wasn't asking you, and now you're converting because I was a big fan of that. So you decided, hey, let me let this guy under my wing. Let me let him on a podcast too. So
yeah, might as well, right? I mean, I was thinking actually today that I could probably fit in a podcast every day of the week, and then just kind of sync. So I'd shoot one day, edit the next day, and it'd be shoot, edit, shoot, edit, shoot, edit. And I was just gonna start going to open mic nights and just like hitting up comedians that I think are funny, and just starting a podcast every day of the week.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
It's definitely not going to happen, but it's just a thought that occurred to me that I might try to just find people that I think are funny out there. So I'm going to at least start going to those. Starting 7 podcasts probably won't happen though.
In high school, I wanted to just record myself playing a video game, no editing, and release one of those videos every single day. And that was excessive. I went down to 3 uploads a week, and that was solid.
That's not bad. For being in high school, I mean, you're going to school all day. You probably had other commitments.
Yeah, swimming.
Yeah.
Love my water.
Nice.
Shout out to water.
Good, man. I'm gonna actually have to bleep that because we're not sponsored by. we're not sponsored by Big Water, actually. Man.
You're probably questioning why I asked you about your attractiveness scale because you have no idea what we're going into today, right?
At the beginning I would have said no, but I think I might have an inkling of what's going on. But I'll go ahead and let you explain it.
All right. So I'm Aaron, and this is
Preston.
And we're here to discuss reality TV shows. A lot of them are really confusing, and I don't know how it made it past the meeting room that they're actually going to run these shows. But this week we're going to talk about the show Average Joe. So can you give me a synopsis of what this show is?
Yeah, so this show, I think it's, 2002, 2003?
It's you don't have much of an option past 360p on the YouTube videos, so it's pretty old.
Yeah, it was the Wild West of reality TV shows in that era, and they're just they're shooting anything that's outlandish. It's gonna get views. There's no real concern for is this not a good look for our network? It's like, what will people think is really wild, and they'll click on and watch for a minute.
It's the definition of there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah. Exactly. So this it's a dating show where they bring in a bunch of average looking guys. And there's one girl, so it's sort of like The Bachelor, and they're all competing to actually only date her. There's no promise of marriage at the end, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to date her. So there's a bunch of those guys. They're competing. She's eliminating people. The show's going on, and then suddenly they bring in a yacht full of really attractive looking guys, and then they also join the competition. So the whole show is kind of framed as attractiveness versus personality.
So I think the main structure of this, I don't know how many episodes are involved, but I watched the first 5 or 6, just some YouTube highlights of it. And the first 2 episodes, it's just the average looking guys. And just they get to hang out with her all individually. And some of them are I think I'm falling in love with her. And it's dang, you probably didn't get more than 30 minutes of alone time with this person. So it's not just an attractiveness thing. It's these guys have little to no social interactions as well, it seems, which is a little rough, but they definitely casted some people that would make this interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Some of it seems, I guess I'll get into more of my critiques later, but I think a lot of it isn't acting. There's a lot of genuine these guys are a little weird. They casted people with poor social skills on purpose to try to kind of push them in that narrative of the average guy. I don't know. It's they definitely don't all have the best social skills.
when you said that they come in on the yacht and they're like first introduced, I think that they have all of the average looking guys standing out there just like observing them all coming in on the yacht.
Okay, I haven't seen this part.
But then she is introduced to them in a different way. She's introduced to them in like this big room and she's in a nice dress and they're just all lined up, and then the attractive guys just come in one by one and they're all like kissing her on the cheek, kissing her on the hand, and stuff like that. I think that part is scripted. And like,
Okay.
I doubt that we could find 8 attractive men that all have the confidence in today's like age to kiss her hand and kiss her cheek and stuff. I've never known somebody who does that regularly. So.
Yeah, but we're also not put in like dating show scenarios. Like I've seen like, you know, like Love Island and Too Hot to Handle and shows like that, and that's usually what they do when they're introduced. I don't know if that's like a yeah, sorry, I won't get into those too much.
Spoiler alert for the rest of our season.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's what they do on that show. Like as soon as they meet, they just like give like a kiss on a cheek or something like that. But it's also European, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And this is an American show.
Unfortunately. I wonder if this is ripped from a European show or if they just ran it from America. I mean, honestly, like just how controversial the topic is, I feel like they just ran it in America.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole show is set up like I feel like the director, I looked up his name, I can't remember it now, but the director, I feel like he's a nice guy. Like a nice guy, meaning he maybe doesn't have the best looks or personality, which causes him not to find very many relationships, and therefore he's a little angry at women.
Okay.
And so he's that is my theory anyways, and so that's why he set up this show that's like, oh, these are nice guys, even though they don't look the best, they have good personalities, and the girl's still gonna pick the jerk every time. And that just kind of seems like the theme of the show, and that was gonna happen no matter what. And in every season she has picked the good looking guy over the personality. So
it's kind of weird that like that's the main idea of the show, but from what I watched, it seems like there's one guy that gets it pretty far out of the average Joes, and he kind of like ends up being like a fan favorite essentially. He's like the only one that seemed to have a good personality of the crew. Because the other guys, I personally wouldn't be able to handle them for that long. Maybe I'm just impatient, but like she is very patient on the show. She's like supportive. There's a specific challenge that happens, right? So she dresses up. This isn't like crucial, but they always dress her up in some sort of sexy outfit for the challenges. So she's like a school teacher, and they're all in the room, and it's a 3-part challenge, like in a classroom. The first step to the challenge is like IQ test, and it's like the average Joes. So I guess they're not so average because they're all pretty smart. They all turn in this test in like 5-10 minutes or something, and it's just all of the attractive guys are just chilling there, like still working on the test. And it's like slaughter. They destroy the IQ test. And then the very next test, of course, they go right into the physical challenges. So they have them lined up. The 8 dudes are all in like black and gray, and they're looking good. And then the average dudes are like in red, which is like straight from Dodgeball. I don't know which came first. It's literally called Average Joes.
Yeah. But
they have to climb a rope and then immediately go across monkey bars. And of course, it's an Average Joe show, so there's going to be someone who's like a little overweight, not so athletic. When he comes up to do the rope and the monkey bars, they have him like being interviewed at the same time, and he's like,
while he's trying to do it, they're trying to talk to him and ask him questions,
like editing. They're having his interview play.
Okay, yeah.
And that he's like, I don't want to be known as the fat guy, so I'm gonna be like trying really hard at this. And it's just like a Rocky-esque montage of this guy going across the monkey bars one handle at a time, and just everybody cheering for him.
Nice.
Even the girl, Larissa is her name on the show that we watched season 2, Hawaii. So even she's like, you got this, like you can do it, don't give up, all that stuff. But I think he makes like 4 or 5 and then falls, unfortunately.
Dang. Yeah, so I wonder what their casting was, because clearly I don't think they had the budget to hire like all actors and fake the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think that maybe one of their critiques was like they gave them some sort of like math test or like IQ test or something, so they knew that they would nail that segment more than these other guys.
Yeah. And I'm curious if it's a real IQ test or if it was just like some "Are you smarter than a fifth grader" thing.
They gave them
like,
2 separate tests.
yeah, it's just like one of those times tables for the for the average Joes, and then just like trigonometry for the hot guys.
Straight calculus for the hot guys, and they're like, "What the fuck?" That'd be pretty good.
Outside of that fan favorite and the slightly overweight guy, there's one guy specifically who has a new facial hair like every episode.
You're telling me. So the whole video that we watched on YouTube is like in, like he said, like 360, 240p, something like that. Like it was already low quality to start with, and then somebody like ripped it off their VCR and slapped it on YouTube. So this thing's a little bit hard to watch. So I have no idea how you were able to see this guy's beard line and change.
In the interview, I mean, it's pretty significant. I'm surprised you missed it. But even the comment section on the YouTube videos are like, "Season 1 was so funny. Could somebody upload that for me?" Like, I'm like, there's legit fans of this show, and it's insane. But this one guy, he comes in. I think the very first facial hair you see from him is just like waves on both sides. So it's just like this squiggly line that goes all the way across. But
Like
then,
that guy from the Hunger Games.
There's a guy in the Hunger Games that has a beard like that.
He's like I think he's the game maker is his title.
Okay.
And he's like the main guy, and he always has like crazy beards that go everywhere, and he's like right below the president, whatever his name is, Apple Bottoms or.
That's a pretty good title. I was like, was it Game Master?
Game Maker, I think.
Game
or it
Maker.
could be Game Master, I'm not sure.
Game
But yeah, he's like
Maker's-
the evil guy, basically.
Game Maker's not as cool, but Game Master? Woo.
You should have wrote it. You should hit up Suzanne B. Collins. See
Is
what
that
she
who-
thinks.
You know off the top of your head who wrote Hunger Games?
I mean, I read them like I'm pretty sure it's, if I'm wrong, then it's not going to sound as smart, but I think it's Suzanne B. Collins. I don't know what the B stands for.
All right, so this Game Master, right?
Yeah.
He comes in. He's already read all the Hunger Games books. That's why he's hopping in this survival competition anyway.
Okay, so you think it's him.
Yeah. So he hops in and has that wave, and then the next time I see him, like one side looks like a heartbeat, like you would see on a monitor at a doctor's
That's kinda
office,
sick, yeah.
and then it gets like straight line on the other side. So it's like a
I get it.
continuation on one side to the other. So this is like next level fades. You know how you can get like the electric bolt in your head?
Yeah, I've done
on
that.
fades. You've done that?
Yeah, I used to do that for when I played soccer in high school.
Okay.
We would get like designs on the side of our heads.
My girlfriend cuts my hair. I'm terrified she's gonna put a design on every single time.
I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna DM her and see what she can do next time she cuts your hair.
When we cut our hair for swimming, we would always, before like shaving it entirely, we would put our names or something in it.
Nice.
Before.
And you didn't keep any of that for the meats?
Held on to it?
No, I mean like wear it for the meat like that.
Yeah, so we would, if you were a good swimmer and you made districts early on, you would get to keep the hair for a little bit, and people would do like the reverse mohawk and shave it right down the middle. Some people would just do like
Nice.
a bald spot and stuff like that. I wasn't one of the best swimmers, so I would always go to a last chance meet where I actually had to shave my entire head for the purpose of swimming faster,
Oh,
so
okay.
that I could make the districts qualifier.
Interesting. Did you actually notice like a difference in your times with a shaved head?
Yeah, but that could have also just been like we tapered all the way up to the swim meet, which meant just you were not going as hard in practice, so that you would just go all out for the actual meet time. But
Also, I feel like, well, I guess you could compare other competitions, but whenever you go to a competition, usually you have adrenaline and you have faster times than you would in practice or something like that.
plus everyone's cheering for you there.
Yeah, for sure. I used to do 5Ks, and like I would practice and I wouldn't even be able to run the whole thing. I'd be like, man, I'm really tired after like mile 2, and I just like start walking, and then I'd show up at the 5K and I'd run the whole 5K no problem because I was like so amped to be there, and it was like a whole situation.
Just keep running. My mic's falling.
Oh, the whole thing is because it's a rounded table. I think it's this one.
Yeah. I figured that out after I loosened it.
Oh, the whole thing is. A little bit more on there. Nothing a good crankage won't fix.
All right, editing Preston, welcome back. All right, so I have a few did this happen moments because
Okay.
I think I watched a little bit more than you, but just from this conversation, it turns out that you've watched a fair amount of it.
Well, so I watched the recap. It's like I watched the very last episode, and they did like a 7-minute recap of the whole series.
Oh, okay. I should have watched that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is great. It's just gonna show me the entire series in one go.
I could have saved so much time.
Yeah. Well, I still watched for like I think the whole episode was like 43 minutes or whatever an hour show is minus commercials. But yeah, I got to see that recap, which was nice.
Okay, so did this happen? Belly flop contest to see who gets to go on a date with her.
I'm gonna say that definitely happened, and that was before the hot guys entered, and it was just the average shows.
Okay, I'm already proud of myself. That did not happen.
Oh no!
But that honestly, with the way I forgot to mention that they did dodgeball.
No, you did mention that.
Did I mention
Yeah,
dodgeball?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, they just get slaughtered in dodgeball. It's so funny. Not a single one of the hot guys gets out from that. So I figured a belly flop contest would just be like straight on par with the comedy that this show like tries to do.
Yeah. I was thinking that would be pretty realistic, and I did see a clip of that dodgeball one, and it showed just the very end where there was like 6 dudes just like lined up on the midway point, just like pelting this one dude that was left.
And it's all slow motion, black and white.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all the good stuff.
Got to.
Okay. On season 3, the boat bringing the attractive contestants is scripted to sink, and all the white t-shirt wearing hot studs are forced to swim to shore.
In season 3, so we watched season 2, right?
Yeah.
All right, I kind of fell into your trap the first time. I don't know. I would say it's believable. If you wrote this one, it is believable. They came in on a yacht. I feel like going from yacht to swimming is a little bit. It's like a step down. So I'm gonna say no.
Well, they didn't like swim in. The boat sank. It was scripted to sink, so that all of them in their white t-shirts would hop off the boat and have to swim in like that.
Damn, I'm still not sure. I'm gonna go with it did happen.
Ooh, got him again.
No, I changed my answer.
So season 3 is actually, I think they bring one of the average Joes from the first or second season, and then it's all women.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. But they did not script a boat to sink. That would probably be way too expensive.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about season 3, so that'd be really funny. It's just one. That would be a great twist for season 3. Just the one average Joe, and then all the women. And then halfway through the season, they bring in a non-average Joe, and he swims to shore.
Oh, and they all go for him.
And they all just have to choose, and they all choose him. They vote him out.
Yeah, so I originally was just going to have that for season 2, but since you mentioned them coming in on the yacht, I know that you saw them come in. So I just quickly added season 3 to the end of this so that you would maybe think of it was true.
Use my words against me.
All right. This is one of my favorites. A contestant draws a picture of other contestants pissing themselves.
There's no way you made all of these up. But I don't see how that would have to do with anything. Is this part of a competition? Or is this just a thing somebody did in his free time? Mm-hmm. I feel like this one would be hard to make up. Because this is very out of the blue. I don't see how your mind would have gone here, and I have some questions if it did. So I'm going to say this one is real.
This one's real.
Let's go.
It is textbook bullying. It is literally one of the attractive guys just sitting in like a lounge chair by the pool, drawing what each person, like based off of their personality. And the one guy like comes up, not the guy who was on the monkey bars, but another guy comes up. He's like, "You made my character bigger than everyone else. Do you think I'm fat or something?" Like stuff like that. And literally all of them are pissing themselves because they're so scared. Like
what? So he like drew pictures of all the dudes pissing themselves.
Yeah.
That was just the thing that he did for the fun of it. I think part of the weird things that happen on these shows is there's so many guys and the cameras are rolling all the time, and they're trying to. I feel like they're already there to try to get a little bit of fame. So they're going to do what they can to get featured on the show because, they're filming, I don't know, tens of hours of footage. I'm sure maybe hundreds of hours of footage for each episode. And there's, 40 minutes that gets aired. So they're like doing crazy stuff just to get on there.
Well, I think that could potentially have been scripted too. He
You
could
think
have
so?
just said in like the interview process that he likes to draw, and they were like, "Dude, come on, please draw a picture of them." And he took it a little too far. The pissing themselves—that's definitely not scripted. That's just
You don't think
something
so?
he enjoyed doing. It's some weird kink that he has or something.
That's were they like good drawings or were they like stick figures?
I would say like Diary of a Wimpy Kid esque,
Okay,
like on that
so
level.
he's not an artist.
No. But,
Okay.
But they had some multiple dimensions than just like a line for arms on them.
Got it.
Okay, next one. I think you know this one. Larissa uses latex makeup and a fat suit to dress up as her mom to get contestants to reveal truths to her.
Yeah. This is a wild fact for the audience. I did know this one. But yeah, so she does I think for all the contestants, right?
Yeah.
And she like talks to all of them as her mom. And then like this guy goes in the back room and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not really interested in her anymore. Like if she's gonna, look like that when she gets older, that's not for me." And she like listens to his tape because of course, why would they not show her?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Yeah, this guy's out. How could he say such a thing?" And she like pulls off the makeup.
The one guy is like, she asks what his type is, and he's just like sitting there. He's like, not lazy, like works hard and stuff like that. And then she's just like, "Oh, he means not fat." And the mom is in a fat suit in that situation. She clarifies too. She's like, "I'm dressing up as my mother, but my mother is actually beautiful. She doesn't look like this." So if anybody looks like that, they just got dissed so hard right out that.
Yeah, they're really not worried about offending anybody in these kind of shows. That's for sure.
The main like average Joe that she starts to take a liking to, he's given the tough question of, would you rather have what are the close seats in baseball? Like what would they be?
Like right next to the home plate. What are they called?
Like I don't know.
Like dugout seats?
Dugout seats. She's like, would you rather have dugout seats to the 7th game of the Boston Red Sox World Series or go to an art exhibit with Larissa? And it's like an interview. He's like, "I'm not gonna lie, I lied about that one."
For sure.
He said the art exhibit. It was like her art in the exhibit. So that's kind of
okay.
like where it gets a little bit more difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I would. Yeah. I mean, I don't like baseball, but I feel like if I did like baseball, that'd be a pretty impossible game to pass up. And does that imply that you are no longer with her as well, or you just like missed out on this one night and you can do it tomorrow?
Missed out on that. I mean, I would assume it is a 1-day thing.
Okay. Yeah.
It is a replacement, but
It's
it
not a
doesn't
both.
mean it doesn't mean she breaks up with you the next day if you don't do that.
Yeah, but it does mean that you probably don't have a chance just by answering that question. So that guy definitely pulled a smooth move.
He said that, and then he goes, "I hope the boys don't see this one." All right, and I have one last one, which you also know. An average Joe wins the contest.
I think I already spoiled this earlier, but yeah, as we know, not a single average Joe is won, which I think is essentially the script. So it's of my opinion that this is not real really at all, besides the little personality things that they have like during the show because it's running so long and they're just trying to be themselves for a little while. But the overall show, I think, is just written by a nice guy. What were we talking about?
So just ask,
Is this show real?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really think, I basically thought the entire thing was fake. So what do you think about the whole overarching theme of the show? Do you think it's real?
I mean, of course, that's what we're trying to do with this reality show. I didn't look into it like the correct answer, but I don't think any of the interactions are real. But I think that the whole concept of it and this person just being more attracted to the hot guys versus the average guys, 100% real. Like,
yeah, I mean that's pretty day and night. What do you mean by the interactions aren't real?
like the guy drawing people pissing themselves.
Okay, so like
that.
the little things that you think they like injected, like tossed them a bone, like, "Hey, draw something," and then they film it.
And they don't show like every date with every guy.
Yeah,
so there's probably some where they're like, this guy is more entertaining, or the people would like this person more, so they do better dates with that person, so that has a better chance of working out or something like that. But like I said, it's not just mid-level looking guys versus like supermodels. The average Joes also are weird. Like through the interview process, they probably had some people that just looked like a normal person and had like a decent personality, and they were probably like, this person's off.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of saying about the whole scripting thing is like they intentionally did this so that I don't know, so that those guys would lose so that the better looking guys could continue to win. Because I think you're kind of right. I mean, it's not even like those guys didn't have a personality or anything like that. But okay, so I watched the last episode.
I did not.
And it came down to two guys, Gil and Brian. Gil is the attractive guy. Brian's the personality guy. And they both seem like they have like decent personalities. Like there's nothing really wrong with Gil. But when she goes in the back and she talks about them, she's like, yeah, like Gil doesn't like open up. He doesn't really have emotions. And I'm pretty worried about that. Also, he doesn't want to leave Florida. So long distance is going to be tough. And then with Brian, she's like, yeah, he's pretty much like the perfect guy. Like he's always open. He's like willing to move if we need to make this work. I know he's always going to be there for me. And then they like go to like the main, like the finale spot. And she's like, Gil comes up first and she's like, yeah, like I'm really worried about, your emotions. And I feel like you're just not opening up. But my heart says to pick you. So I'm going to do that.
And she just starts making out with him right there, right in front of Brian.
Yeah, and this is another reason I think it's like kind of set up, because then they bring in the nice guy after. So they didn't do the order like you would normally expect. So like you already know the outcome. And so you feel like extra bad for this guy, and you're like, he doesn't deserve this. Like you just said, he's perfect. And so she's like, yeah, like maybe we can just be friends. Like I know this is gonna hurt your feelings. And I'm sure we can't be friends right away, but if we could be friends, that would be great. And he's like destroyed. And then
dang, that brings up I think I agree with your theory that a nice guy wrote it and was like, we're just never gonna get anything. Like this is just always how it's gonna be. The 6-pack abs are always gonna beat us out or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's fake now.
And even to, I guess to give the show a little bit of credit, even if the guys, like, even if Gil was like the better match for her and she like said good things about him, maybe they just cut like certain things out that were good about him and left in the bad things, and then cut out the bad things that she said about Brian and only left in the good things. So it made it seem like, oh, this guy's way better. Why would you not choose him? And then she doesn't choose him. So that might be part of it too.
I forgot to say in the very beginning of the show, she's secretly filmed after meeting the original 8 Average Joe guys. She's like, did you specifically make them as dorky as possible? Like, did you dress them up and make them look like this so that I would have to go through this? She's like dogging on them right at the beginning.
Yeah, I think they even replayed that in the finale recap.
Oh, yeah.
And she like, it was like some sort of like room camera, and she's like throws a pillow and she's like pissed.
Oh my God. Imagine being at that point.
That'd be tough to be those guys. So the very, very end of the show, I guess to put an end cap on this, is she chooses Gil. They're like they're in this hangar at an airport, and there's an airplane. It's like all very cinematic, and they get on the plane and they fly away to their dream vacation. And in classic early 2000s television, they have to add another twist. So she's like, there's a secret I haven't told any of the guys. And I was thinking like, oh, like I couldn't really think of what the secret would be. Like something bad, like, she had to like leave for a few months, or like, I don't know, something with her family, or like she's under house arrest, or something like that would be bad.
Do you want me to take a guess?
Yeah. Try to guess what one of them is.
Multiple. You said try to guess what one of them is. This girl's.
No, I didn't mean to let that slip.
She's on a vacation. She's got her carry-on. She's got one bag of luggage, and now she has all of this baggage coming with her too.
She's got some baggage, and it's like, they build it up all episode. There's this one secret
Damn,
that she hasn't told anybody.
Okay. She's married.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
That's one of the things I was thinking about too. I'm like, oh, maybe she's like divorce or something. Like, I don't know what their ages are. They're probably like mid-30s or something.
Okay.
So like, it's like very possible and doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but maybe that's what they're talking about.
Let me think of another one. She has a obsession with snakes.
That would have been better. No, it wasn't that either.
It's something small. Like, it's not really even a big deal.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. To me, it made 0 sense why this mattered.
Okay.
Let me give you another hint. So, Gil leaves her because of this immediately. She reveals this secret, and he immediately is like, I can't believe you didn't tell me that. I'm done. And they end it. It's like 2 days into their relationship on their dream vacation, and it's over, and she can't go back to the other guy. And it kind of seals the narrative of like, this girl's an idiot. She chose the asshole and didn't choose a nice guy, and she got wrecked.
We're going with scripted now. I mean, you said that he broke up with her. I was gonna say like she enjoyed mayonnaise too much and would eat it by the spoon, but that's probably not why that guy's leaving. Unemployed.
I feel like they would have known that. No. So her big secret is that her ex is Fabio.
Who's Fabio?
It's like he's like, he was much more popular 20 years ago than he is now, but he's just like a model / actor / fitness, I guess a fitness influencer of like the early 2000s.
Okay. That's it. They just has an ex who's a significant person.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, he's like a good looking guy. I don't know if he like did some bad things in his past, or even if he was like a bad person. I really don't understand. And he's like, any guy in America would understand why I have to do this. Mm-hmm. And he just like cuts it off and dramatically walks down the beach out of frame.
Dang. Okay, and that's just how it ends.
That's just how the show ends, and she's
2 more seasons.
Actually, how the last frame is just her laying on the couch, curled up, crying over Brian, and saying, "I messed up. I should have picked the other guy."
Brian watches that air like however many months later, and he's like, "No, I don't care about the rules of the show. Come on, we can date."
That's literally the last thing he said. He was like, "I will always be there for you."
Aw.
So I'm sure if that had any truth to it and it wasn't all scripted, then
Brian knew.
Yeah. And that's how it ends.
So,
nice guys finish last.
16 guys, right? Half of them attractive, half of them average Joe. Where are you placed?
Probably the top of the heap.
Okay. You're saying least attractive to the left, most attractive to the right. There's 16 guys. You're sitting at spot 18. They got you on a throne separate from everything else.
Yeah. Well, it depends if Fabio's in there or not.
Okay.
Then I might be one behind him.
One behind Fabio. And he's like, yes, I'm her ex.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
He does the Magnum look from Zoolander.
Oh, yeah, yep. He's known for having like really long hair.
Okay.
Like really long blonde hair. He's like a beachy romance movie kind of guy.
I've seen this guy 100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
I forget what my question was.
Where do you stand in the pack?
Oh. So the interesting thing was there was like 2 or 3 like average Joes that I didn't think like were that like they were better looking. And
That's
I was
us,
like,
right?
Yeah.
That's where
we'd be the guys. People would be like, should they be down there? Like, I get they're not like 6-pack guys, but like, should they be in the average Joes? Because all these other guys are like,
That's
whatever.
exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I think I'd be in that average Joe pack exclusively because they have that dodgeball competition, and of course they're doing shirts versus skins. All the attractive guys washboard abs, and I'm not quite there. So
yeah, and I was thinking of that scene where they roll in on the yacht, and yeah, they're all like fit to the brim, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm not quite like that, so I probably couldn't be in that group where you have that one moment where like, yeah, he's in that group for sure.
Yeah, I'm on the average Joes, and I'm just hoping that my personality pays off. I mean, I think of the scenario where she goes, yeah, I chose Gil, who I just dogged on for like 10 minutes over you, who I really think is a perfect guy. I would not tell her, I'll always be there for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said something like that. I would have been like, damn, I guess I'm gonna bounce now.
Like, where's the paycheck at least?
But also, I would have a huge amount of difficulty being in this show, because I'm not good with like any kind of competition. Like, if a girl is like, like casually dating or like sort of interested in other people at the same time as me, I'm just like, I'm actually not interested like at all. So I'm just gonna bounce. So I would never make it in a reality show because there'd be like 24 guys. She'd be like, "Are you interested?" I'd be like, "Actually, no. I'm gonna bounce."
I'm not gonna like hunt you or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah. I'm
that.
not gonna try to woo you over all these other guys. If you are interested in other guys, that's cool.
But free food, free drinks, all that stuff for a whole season.
I guess I could try to
Count
act,
me in.
but that'd be pretty difficult.
Ooh, that'd be tough.
Would you do it? A dating show of any kind?
I actually originally was not originally. I don't know when originally would be in a lifespan, but at a time
Back
when
in the day.
I was in a relationship, unfortunately, like a couple years ago, I was watching this Twitch dating show, essentially.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Like lover host,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm in a relationship, but that would be cool to be on. So
Yeah.
when I became single, I was like, maybe I'll try to work my way up into that kind of thing because it just looked fun for content
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But the premise is that one person is talking to however many of the opposite gender, or same if they're bi, or same if they're gay. And once you get down to just that one person, they potentially have put love, which means you get to go on a date with them, or host, which means that you have to just like give your whole viewer base to them, and like they just get that for a night,
Yeah.
essentially.
I would definitely be on that. I think that show's really funny. And that one's, I feel like this is a 2-for-1 episode at this point, but I think that one's definitely real. I don't think it's just like a bunch of Twitch streamers just kind of being goofy. I feel like no one's actually, I guess that would make it fake if no one's actually looking for dates.
Yeah, when people go and they pick love, I don't usually think that amounts to anything. I think there was like
Yeah, I don't
one
know.
case, but
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe we do a whole episode on that.
I mean, I've watched a ton of those.
They're like 6-hour long VODs, and I've
I
watched
know.
through them. I'm like, yeah, this is my Monday.
Man, back when I didn't have a job, sometimes I'd just like play video games and flick one of those on and just like let it run all day.
I'm like, I don't know any of these personalities, but I'm about to.
Yeah. I learned a lot of like Twitch streamers that I had no idea, like Justin Minks and Jay Schlatt and all these guys that are on that show constantly.
Yeah, so you already rated yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for attractiveness. So how would you rate this reality show to somebody that never watched it before? Would you recommend this show to anybody?
I would recommend the YouTube highlights.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the YouTube highlights are good. You could even just watch the first, like that part 1 of the last episode. That's just like a 7-minute recap. It's pretty ridiculous. So that's a good way of watching all the seasons. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd give it like to sit through that whole episode, I'd give it like a 3.
Okay, yeah. I was on a 3 or 4 scale. I would not recommend this to anybody. I would just give them the context.
Yeah.
So, if you're watching this podcast, it's perfect.
Yeah.
We just gave you the whole
don't
rundown.
watch it. And tell all your friends, don't watch it. There's better TV out there, I'm sure.
All right, to wrap this up, I'm going to give you another little quiz here. I listened to this one band that the screamer decides to, or I guess the dirty vocals, decides to choose whatever is catchy or whatever follows the melody the most. And some of the lyrics he says are incredibly obscure.
Okay.
So I want to ask you if you think these are real lyrics or if I wrote them. And you've
Okay.
already seen that I'm pretty good at coming up with things.
You are pretty good. So what's the artist name?
Dance Gavin Dance.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was the Gavin guy.
And then the guy
It's one of your favorite artists.
himself. Yeah. And the guy himself is John Mess. So he's the
Okay.
dirty vocalist, and you can't understand it half the time unless you like are really into that music. So that when you look up the lyrics, you're like, what the heck?
Okay, so just to clarify, dirty vocals doesn't mean crass. It means they're hard to understand and they're like screamed usually.
You scream. Yeah, he is the screamer of this band. And there's a guy who does clean vocals, who does like melody type stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Clean and dirty vocals. So learn something new.
Multiple stab wounds. Multiple stab wounds, yeah. Multiple stab wounds. Multiple stab wounds, yeah.
I mean, if it's not this guy, I feel like there's plenty of other songs that talk about being stabbed. So
In
I
that
wouldn't
regard?
be that surprised. It definitely feels like something you scream too. I'm gonna go with real.
It is.
Oh baby, I'm 2 for 2. That's passing. Or
Here
2
we
for
go.
4.
50%, baby.
50%.
That's not quite passing.
with a curve.
With
With a 20% curve, I think that's passing.
I think anybody who just tuned into this and never watched the show that we were talking about would also get a low grade, so you're guaranteed a curve.
Okay, sick.
Cool.
I don't even usually at the end of podcast I announce when it's coming out. I don't know when we're gonna release this. When are we
Yeah.
gonna release this?
We don't even know like a definite name of it.
That's true. Your suggestion was, is this real?
Is this real life?
Is this real life?
But then,
What's the SEO on that?
what's the SEO? Is there anything famous out there that says, is this real life?
Probably.
Okay.
I feel like it's also the title of like a lot of blog posts or like.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, it's
Thumbnail?
Yeah, that'll be perfect. It's probably the title of a lot of Reddit posts that are about reality shows.
Okay.
So maybe it is
Then
good.
we could take some of those Reddit posts and crank them out for us.
Yeah, just start cranking. That'll be a good name for the show too.
Start cranking.
Nothing to do with the show. What day are we gonna release this? Mondays? Fridays?
Wednesdays at 6 a.m. No. Mondays. I like the idea of people starting their
Yeah.
week with something good.
I feel like a lot of podcasts
Or
come out on
bad.
Mondays. That's why I was doing my other one on Wednesdays. But this will be a good stagger.
Maybe
Mondays.
Friday, dude. They listen to it when they want to listen to it anyway.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you just click on the latest episode. But Monday's good. All right, so this will come out Monday, 5 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
because you could schedule it.
These
I
will
was
come
like,
out
Man,
every.
you're waking up.
Yeah, no, I'm not waking up then. These will come out every Monday at 5 a.m. Tune into it.
We don't have to have
Is
a
this
title
real
right
life?
now.
See ya. Oh, you're not even gonna say anything.
You don't say your name to end it.
I
This
don't
has been
think so.
Preston. This has been Aaron.
We can. This has been Aaron.
This has been Preston.
See ya.